welcome investors from all across the fruited plain. Old Drake coming at you again from Southern Command here down on the plantation in Texas. A great winter day. Actually, it's spring outside, and it is spring. Hope you're doing well. We have had a lot of questions on a previous video that we did on YouTube about how clients can save $5, $10, $15, even $30,000 or $40,000 a year or more on wealth management fees once you have transparency and you really know what your fees are. So we've had a lot of questions. In fact, got asked, give us a real life example of how that can be true. You know, people are skeptical when it comes to wealth managers, as they should be, especially on fees. Okay, wealth managers don't like to talk about this. Transparency on fees is coming also for the advisor world that is used to charging 1% on the first million and on and on and on in assets under management fee. We talked about a flat fee advisor model, which is what we have, but I'm going to give you a real life example of a client with $5 million, happens to be a CPA. By the way, 30% of Old Drake's clients are CPAs, because they do understand the numbers and they know about transparency on what wealth management really costs people. Most people have no idea what they're really paying for this. They know they're paying 1% or something like that, but they don't know about all the other fees. So a real life example, this particular gentleman was with a full service, very reputable national wealth management operation. They were charging him on his $5 million portfolio. First of all, let's put ours up here. We're flat fee. We charge a simple $5,000 a year. That's it, no matter what the size of your portfolio. This gentleman had a $5 million portfolio with these folks, and his blended fee rate was like 0.7%, 70 basis points, almost 1% on the total $5 million, okay? Which turns out to be 0.7%, forgive my bad chicken scratch writing. It actually turns out to be he was paying $35,000 a year to the assets under management, his fee-based advisor, on his portfolio. So right away, yes, there's a $30,000 a year savings. It's not totally apples to apples, I'll give you that. You got to be more involved with us. We work on a collaborative basis, but that pays for itself when we get down here talking about taxes in a minute, why that's even better. We're not for everyone. We have to make sure it fits. We have to do discovery. And just about every client we've ever had can save at least $5,000 a year. So you might not be able to save $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year, but frankly, you might. So the big savings is actually on the fee. $35,000, would you agree with me, is more than $5,000? I think you would. But that particular asset manager, like many registered investment advisors, they don't actually manage any money anymore. They take the client's funds and they put them all in somebody else's exchange-traded funds, mutual funds, private equity, private credit, alternative investments with all kinds of layers of fees in there. And so like 80, 90% of the client's money had an additional fee. So now some of it was very low fee, passive index exchange-traded funds and mutual funds. That's okay. It's not as good as individual securities where there's no extra fee if you own individual stocks and bonds. But they also had alternative investments, fund of funds, and more expensive things in there. So in our situation, we manage his money with him now. 80% of his money is in individual stocks and bonds. We've dramatically reduced all the fees of the investments that he actually owns in addition to the $30,000. But here's the real kicker. When you own individual stocks and bonds, you have way more control over your portfolio and the tax drag. This particular asset manager rebalances everybody once a year in January in the first quarter. Big whoop. We're a boutique. We only serve a limited number of clients. We actually rebalance as often as we need to per individual client, taking advantage of their tax situation. Maybe they took a big gain or a loss on a real estate or a privately held business or some other asset they held. We can match throughout the year buys and sells of individual stocks to let Uncle Sam pay the taxes as much as possible, dramatically reducing the tax drag on this particular client. Again, is a CPA, like 30% of our clients, because they understand when they get transparency. That's what I'm trying to give you here, is transparency on fees. He said he's saving at least $40,000 a year. Okay, is it for you? Hey, click on the link. First of all, follow us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Follow us on all social media. That would really help us out. But if you'll do the 4-minute quiz at the end, it's free. It takes about 4 minutes. If you answer all the questions, I'll turn around and I'll look at your individual situation, what you shared with me, and I'll send you a personalized video about your situation. That's our value add for you, that you can actually get some idea on how this might reflect on you. Reach out with questions. Thank you very much.